Hi, this is Lou Smart. I'm going to be talking about soul sovereignty. And of course, however we use that kind of terminology is going to be what it means is going to be completely unique to us. And that's great because really that is, from my perspective, that is what sovereignty is. Soul sovereignty is, as a soul is a light stream that cannot be separated from source, but it's an individuated aspect of source. It's a fractal of source. But in that fractal aspect, in our soul stream light, there comes a point when our awareness is such that we experience directly at one-ment with source as everything, but as self. So the light stream, I'll just use something pictorial now to see if I can help explain this, that if you think of source like an orb of sunlight and the individuated light streams that come off it as our soul light, then you can't be disconnected from that. But as we descend into duality, as we descend into separation, as we descend and forget that we're part of that source, that's who we are, that's the essential nature. When we forget that and when we move into separation and that duality consciousness, where we construct the ego matrix basically and live in duality and react to the essence of duality, and that is cause effect, good, bad, right, wrong, they did it to me, victim, perpetrator, and the emotional reactivity of that basically is dominated by fear and holds us in that bandwidth of energy that perpetuates separation, perpetuates fear, perpetuates the whole kind of grip that it has on us. And for as long as we are identifying with that aspect of ourselves, we are separated from our essential essence. So in truth, we're never separated, but we can feel that we are. Our direct experience is more of separation than it is of at one-ment, and then the oneness with all and everything as self. So to just sort of clarify a little bit around omnipresence of your own presence as your essential essence, as your sovereign beingness. Of course, you blow every circuitry in your whole neural passageways as human. If you were aware of every aspect of the universe and universes, the cosmos, the galaxy, the all, the source, if we were aware of that all at once, we blow our inner gadgetry basically. So we're aware without knowing how we're aware of it all, and the experience of that comes online very much in a maturation process, a soul maturation process, where there is the understanding, of course, that our souls as starseeds have chosen to come here on planet Earth to descend into all of the conditioning and the history and the lineage, the ancestry, all the history of our lifetimes in separation from source, very much lifetimes in the very contracted and imbalanced masculine energy, even the divine masculine energy that has caused this separation from our feminine essence that's all about relatedness. So the symbology for the feminine essence is the heart and the right side of the brain. They're directly connected. So in separating from those, we're separating from the knowledge, the quantum knowledge of our completion, of our wholeness. Because in separation, we have many identities, whether we're father, mother, brother, sister, business owner, poor, rich, victim, perpetrator, whatever, guilty, innocent. In all of those identities, I'm going to put this on pause now whilst I just really think through what I'm going to say. Yes, it's all of those identities that keep us caught up in the externals and form of relationships, of physical form, of anything that is happening in the mind, and the mind that creates stories about the past that has been all generated by the separation and the fear that holds separation in place. So the grip and the stranglehold of that fear keeps us very much at the surface level. And we move more into our presence and are able to feel the unseen aspect of ourselves that is enormous, that has allowed everything to happen, has brought ourselves forward into form as part of Source. We've done that with Source, whether we can remember doing that or not. Largely, we don't. But when we move beyond our reactivity and our emotional reactivity, and we've learned ways to alchemize our reactivity to the things that have hurt us, where we felt abandoned, where we felt rejected, where we felt that our power has been suppressed, and all the hurt, all the shame, all the blame that's come from these adverse experiences in separation. When we work through those, when we bring our soul presence and light to those contracted energies, we alchemize them, because the high vibration of the love and the source energy, the love implicit in source energy, when we bring that love directly to and together with the pain, the hurt, the sense of rejection, the sense of unworthiness, the sense of lack of value, when we bring that love towards that energy where we perceive lack in ourselves, the fullness of who we really are, which can never be lacking anything because it's divine, the fullness of that, when it wraps itself and connects and merges, there's an alchemy. So the duality of those, like source and oneness, coming close up to our fear and all our history of sense of lack, when we bring those together, there's a dissolution of that sense of being separate from source. When we bring our own love towards these aspects of ourselves, these fractalized, separated aspects of ourselves, and all the identities that we wrap around this and the stories, when we bring those close, there is a dissolution. So we need, that is another definition of unity consciousness. You know, we're not separating out anything that's ever been separated, even though it's an illusion that we could ever be separated. But it feels very real when we are. Of course, the pain feels very real, whether it's psychological pain or emotional pain or physical pain. So in the unification, the alchemy of our history, our emotional history and the reactivity, when we work with that, actually what we do is that that can dissolves and it integrates into the beingness, the soul beingness, the presence energy. It merges back, and there is this connection and oneness, that the transformed energy becomes part of this essential core essence energy, beingness, presence, love, unconditional love, the allness, the knowing. So that presence builds over lifetimes, and we bring that presence with us. It's untouchable, you know, it's indestructible. So when we bring this presence forward with us each lifetime, growing through experiences that we've chosen to incarnate into, as we build in that presence, that is the real power that we can create from without the ego based on fear. So we can build new lives, new, not systems. I mean, there are new ways of doing things that come from a power within that is not handicapped by our old reactivity. It's much more potent. It's not that we won't get obstacles. We will have obstacles because creation does include obstacles. I'll go into that another time, but we do create from source presence energy, beingness, that is, that can have immediate manifestation, but there's a sense of knowing without the rushing. It's not coming from lack, it's coming from source energy as self. And there is a relaxation that occurs when we know what we're doing and why we have descended into duality, what we're doing by descending into duality, going through a kind of crucifixion and ascending again out of it, through self-healing, through the alchemy of bringing these separated aspects, the hurt aspects, the wounded aspects of ourselves in towards the love that we are, and in back into source presence. I mean, these are words. Of course, the words are not it. So I'm sharing these with you because I know that I understand that when you're listening to this, you are also resonating. You've met me here because you're resonating. And if you're resonating, you're already on that journey of ascension. So the language that I'm using is the language of light. It triggers codes in you when you hear it. You are also identifying and coded with the language of light, which knows that your DNA knows, and the cells in your body, the energy in your body, all connects in with this language of light that knows source and knows that source is self and is everything. So language can trigger us to remembering this. Other things can remember us, whether it's art or dance or drama or sculpture, nature. There are many ways that we get triggered into remembering who we are and dropping back into source and expanding from source and working with that source energy and presence and transmuting and alchemizing what isn't love into love, back into love, into source, and the purity of that energy. When we know what we're doing, it's a lot easier. So I'm just going to share with you that I'm now doing a 12-month program where I'm taking high-level professionals, coaches, light workers, healers, therapists, and anyone who's interested in developing consciousness as personal power, as love, and knows that they need the support, the guidance from someone who has, been walking the walk here. So, my background has been a clinical and corporate background in stress management, worked in London, I've worked in spas abroad, and come back and lived in London and worked in London. And since then, really understood things in my life got very difficult, and I understand now that that was my catalyst to move into doing the deep inner work and the transformation, and to work with trauma that was held in my body, and go through a process of waking up back into the divine feminine presence, omnipresence, into my 12-strand DNA crystalline consciousness, and many other ways that are fractal elements of describing this unification within, which is a process. It's not an overnight job. And, like breath, we expand and we have moments of inspiration, awareness and knowing, and then we contract back again. And each time we contract back, actually we're bringing more presence within to us, like a spiral in many ways. We do go into circular movements in life. Spirals, where we meet similar situations and circumstances, but they trigger something deeper in us. They're there to trigger deeper levels of self-realization, where we make ourselves real to ourselves, by ourselves. So when handling life and handling the seeming setbacks and the cyclical aspects. You know, I'm sure you've done a lot of work on yourself, and because we're continuing expanding as infinite beings, we're always going to be growing and learning. But there is something that I think is an important part of this course. Well, it's not a course, but a program for 12 months, is that there's plenty of time for growth and integration and support. And we basically use your life as the catalyst for your growth, but also I introduce a lot to do with sacred geometry, alchemy, esoteric alchemy, energy mastery, and obviously the concepts of sovereignty and soul sovereignty in relation to light, in relation to soul light, and then in relation to plasma, your light plasma in terms of the Merkaba light body, your multi-dimensional facets, and a lot more. So what I suggest, there's two options really, is that you can book a free connect call with me, and we can discuss this program and how this is going to help you and how we can fit it into your practical daily life, because everyone's busy in their own ways. And even if you're not busy, it still has to fit into and integrate into your current lifestyle and schedule. That may change by the end of it, but it's got to fit in. So we can discuss all of that. And, you know, I do direct payment or subscription payments for that. The other option is that you could have a taster, a week-long taster with me, where I will clear your energy and research and clear your energy. And then we have a feedback session. So that's over a week. It's a very good way to get a sense of how it is to work with me, what energy clearing can do, because it is an important part of the program overall. And you'll understand how that clearing works. And it's not about being dependent on me for it. It's just a facet that I can offer. It's my gift to the world. And so I include it in the program because it's an important offering from me to you. And so that's a very good way that you can just experience working with me for a week, and you will really get a sense of what we can do together. And then from there, you know, you can move on to the 12-month program, or there's other energy support options that I do that you may want to sign up for until you're ready to kind of take the big quantum leap into the radical breakthrough to soul sovereignty program. So thank you very much for listening, and please get in touch. You know, you can private message me, you can email me if you find this, if this links back to my website, and I very much look forward to meeting with you. Okay, thank you for listening. That's Lou. Bye.